Hello, and welcome to another episode of This, That, and the Other. Today I'm going to be discussing another obscure subject like I have in the past. This time I'm going to be discussing a recording artist that existed from the late 1970s to early 1990s, Root Boy Slim. The first time I had ever heard of him was when I worked at the movie theater at Tyson's Corner. They had a movie called Mr. Mike's Mondo Video, and one of the segments had Root Boy Slim in it. I believe it had ties to Saturday Night Live because I saw some characters, Saturday Night Live characters at the beginning, and it had a Mr. Bill segment at the beginning as well. But this movie, I remember, sold out the first night, and about half of the people that bought tickets came back for a refund. The movie was not popular. It was an unusual type of movie, but I do remember the segment, and I remember the song you did, "Boogie Till You Puke," and I wanted to get a little more information on Root Boy Slim, so I looked some information up on Wikipedia. Here's a picture of him relaxing in his home in Tacoma Park, Maryland, in 1980, and says he was born July 9th, 1945, and he died June 8th, 1993, at age 47. He was born Foster McKenzie III in Asheville, North Carolina. He was raised in suburban Maryland, a few minutes away from D.C. Read some stuff from Wikipedia and what some of the paragraphs, selected paragraphs. McKenzie was an intelligent yet incorrigible youth who was asked to leave several private D.C. area prep schools, including Sidwell Friends. He finally found his niche at St. James School in Hagerstown, Maryland, boarding school, and along with his studies, he played varsity football. He was accepted and attended Yale on a scholarship majoring in African American studies and graduated in 1967. He was a member of the Delta Kappa Epsilon fraternity, where his fraternity brothers included future President George W. Bush. He was a year older than Bush. While at Yale, he formed a band with a classmate and fraternity brother Bob Greenlee, who was captain of Yale's football team. The band was named Prince Lala and the Midnight Creepers. McKenzie's growing dislike of authority and inner inclination to play pranks and his love of shock value expanded. Band members wore ermine capes, silver lame hot pants, and boasted that they were never invited for return engagements. The year after McKenzie and Greenlee graduated, they returned to the DKE house during Yale's homecoming. Bush, who since their departure become president of DKE, he threw them out and banned them from the house. After graduation, McKenzie drove an ice cream truck in D.C. One day he suffered a psychotic breakdown on a particularly high dose of LSD and climbed over the White House fence. The Secret Service apprehended him as he ran up the White House lawn. He told the officers he was looking for the center of the universe. They hauled him off to St. Elizabeth's, and he was diagnosed with schizophrenia, for which he took medication for the rest of his life. He adopted the stage name Root Boy Slim and formed a blues rock band which dubbed Root Boy Slim and the Sex Change Band. His backup singers were called the Rudettes. The band members were stridently different than most club fare. Root Boy was fat, had greasy hair, and almost always seemed to be in a drug or alcohol-induced stupor. The most famous recording that he did was "Boogie Till You Puke" from the debut album Root Boy Slim and the Sex Change Band with the Rudettes, Warner Brothers Records, 1978, which also features "I Used to Be a Radical," "I'm Not Too Old for You," and "You Broke My Mood Ring." Some of the songs were written by McKenzie, guitarist Ernie Lancaster, and bassist Bob Greenlee. The lyrics often satirize society and mixed in autobiographical events from McKenzie's storied life. Warner mismarketed the LP, and the band found themselves without a label, but not without having had a European tour in which Root Boy became enamored with his forefathers' homeland, Scotland. During the same year, the band played a date at Varsity's Grill's Back Room in College Park, Maryland, which was one of the main bars popular with the students at the University of Maryland, College Park. A riot broke out at the bar on U.S. Route 1, which later led the College Park City Council to ban the band from future engagements in College Park. The band was lifted in 1980, and Root Boy and the crew triumphantly returned in a concert in the university's Ritchie Coliseum. Root Boy Slim and the Sex Change Band's 5th anniversary took place in 1982 at the Site Deli in Bethesda, Maryland, and featured home movies of Root Boy, who wore an orange and white checkered 7-Eleven clerk's shirt and white 10-gallon cowboy hat throughout the concert. The band's 10th anniversary took place at the Roxy Club in downtown Washington. A line formed hours prior to the show, and the club's 3 levels were standing room only. By the time the 4th set began, there were at least 25 musicians on the stage who had recorded or played clubs with Root Boy during his career. That show was also the debut of Rich White Republican, a biting satire attack on Republicans that prophesied the eventual election of George H.W. Bush to the White House. The band sold bumper stickers that read, "Root Boy Slim owes me money." On June 8, 1993, Mackenzie died in his sleep at his home in Orlando, Florida. After his death, the Washington Area Music Association held a memorial concert at the Bayou on M Street in Georgetown. Root Boy fans traveled from as far away as California to pay homage to the Lenny Bruce of the blues. He had a loyal following, but his loyal following was basically just secluded to the Washington D.C. area. And got a little audio of Root Boy Slim right here. I'm just going to play a little sample.
The Jew, bucket to your view, to that locker room, that's where it's doing. All night long, party laugh, till your brain cells gone.
Yeah, there's a little sample of his music and what was on in the movie Mr. Mike's Mondo video. And interesting character, so I thought I would do something on him. And it's one of the obscure subjects that I just covered. And as always, thanks for watching.